Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. So this is the translation of that message that she sent to me. And the translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So, my brother, when I came here to South Africa, I then became friends with this other woman. But this is how I became friends with that woman. I was working for this other South African woman who was selling chips and quarter at this other place close to the taxi rank. So it then happened that she started to get a lot of customers, and she saw that I was unable to manage everything on my own. She then said, if you know anyone that is from Zim that is willing to work for me, you can bring that person to work. A woman, she said, but I was unable to get someone in time. But then she came with this other woman who said that she was staying in the same location that she was staying in. And this woman, she was really friendly, and she was also from Zim. That is how we became friends with each other. It then happened that I stopped working for that woman because she was not giving us a lot of money, and me and my husband, we were always in trouble financially. And I then started working for this other Indian family. So like most of the Indians, they stay all in one place. So at that place where I was working at, and that man told me that I was supposed to get someone. So I remembered my friend, and I then spoke with her, and she was happy. We started working together. But the only problem was that the place where she was staying at that location, it was very far from the place where we were working. And she said, if you are able to get some accommodation for me in your location close to your place, then at least I'll know that I'll be able to save some money. And then I started going around trying to get her an accommodation, and then she started staying in the same location where she is now staying with her husband. So what happened, my brother, is that usually when we are at work, we have this app that is called Vidmet. So that is where we usually download our Nigerian movies so that we can watch them at night. So she had downloaded this other movie on her phone. She then said that you can take this movie and send it into your phone. So she gave me her phone, and I was sending that movie using Quick Share. It then happened that I just came across these other nude pictures. That guy, he had like the biggest manhood that I had ever seen, like in my entire life. So I started to zoom on that picture, and I was really interested, and I kept on going through her gallery as I was pretending as if I was selecting the movies. I kept on looking at all the nude pictures of that man that used to send her the nude pictures, who had such a big manhood. And this man, unfortunately, he did not take his face. So when I saw those nude pictures, I thought that maybe she is cheating on her husband. I then quickly went to her WhatsApp, and I opened her WhatsApp, and I looked and I searched, and I did not see anything that was suspicious. And I then went on her husband's chat. That was when I saw that these pictures, they were coming from her husband. So the moment that I realized that her husband has such a big manhood, and I then started to lust after her husband, because as for the husband, he is someone that is very romantic, unlike my own husband. As for my husband, we can say that he is someone that has a very strong rural background. He does not believe that he has to be romantic with his wife. So I kept on lusting after my best friend's husband. I then quickly stole all of her messages, and I forwarded them on my phone. And after I had forwarded them on my WhatsApp, I then deleted all those chats, and then I started to listen to the voice notes. This guy, the way that he made me to feel whilst I was listening to the audios, because he was telling his wife, my best friend, everything that he wanted to do to her later on that night. And I just felt myself really getting wet, and I just wanted to sleep with her husband from that day. So I said, what am I going to do here? And I then started to bring her husband closer and closer to me, I encouraged her to come and visit me with her husband, because I said that her husband and my husband, they were supposed to be friends, so that maybe they can get some piece jobs together. So I had already spoken with this other healer who gave me some charms. He then said that these charms, what I want you to do, you must put them in the food that you would have cooked for your best friend's husband, but make sure that you only put them in food that will be cold. Do not mix them with food that will be hot, otherwise they are not going to work. So there was this other time when my best friend and her husband came to watch some movies at my place. So at that time, my husband, he was at work, because my husband is always on the road because he's working as a construction guy. So on that day when they came, my husband was at work. I then cooked some food, but already I had cooked the food that I wanted to give to her husband, and I had left it to get cold. And then when I dished out the food, I gave my friend food that was hot, and then I gave her husband food that was cold. And before I had given him, I sprinkled the charms on his food. So these charms, they just look like millimil. It is just powdered and it is white like millimil. So I gave him, then he started eating. The moment that he ate the food, he looked at me, and I saw that there was lust in his eyes. He was now lusting after me, and I just wanted to test everything out. I then spoke with my friend and I said, please, can you go and buy some cold drink? So the moment that she left, her husband jumped from the place where he was sitting. He came and he grabbed me, and then he forced me to lie on the bed, and he was on top of me. The way that he was touching me, and even when I felt his manhood, I was like the happiest woman. He wanted us to make love right there, but I was scared because the spaza shop, it is just next door. So I did not want his wife to catch us red-handed. So I told him that we were going to do it another time. This man told me that he has so much feelings for me. There was so much that he wanted to do to me. We then planned, and then we slept together. So since that day until right now, me and my best friend's husband, we are sleeping together, and he has so much free time with me, since my husband, he is always at work, and I am really happy with him because he satisfies me more than what my husband does. Hi, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister right there. Strange things do happen in this world. Please let us speak with her in the comment section. Then there is another message that was sent to me. So this message, it was sent by our dear brother. Strange things do happen in this world. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So when I came here to South Africa, I started working as a security guard. So whilst I was working as a security guard, I started staying with this other woman that I thought that was the love of my life. But after we had bought a lot of property, that was when she told me that she did not love me anymore. And her brothers got involved. When we were having an argument, they came and they took everything from me. And this was after I had raised so much money, because throughout the year, the money that I was getting as my salary, I was just keeping it in our room, because I had told her that when December comes, after I would have gotten my bonus, I want to return back to Zim, because the plan was that I was going to buy at least 2 cattle, and then I was going to return back to South Africa. Then I'll continue working so that I can start building my house in the village. But she then spoke with her brothers, and they took all the money that I had. I was left heartbroken, and from that moment, I then started to have this deep hatred that I started to have towards women. Even right now, I still have that hatred towards women, and I just blame all the women that I date for what this woman did to me, the one that I used to stay with. So after she had dumped me, my brother, that was when I started to buy the services of this other woman who was a prostitute who was staying right next to the place where I was staying. So there were a lot of women that were from Zim that were prostituting themselves. So whenever I would have some money, because during those years they used to sell their bodies for 30 rand, then I would give her, then I would sleep with her. Sometimes she would come to my place if I had enough money to pay her services for the rest of the night. It then happened that me and this woman, because we got so used to each other, we then started sleeping with each other without using any protection at all. So this woman, she did not even know that she was HIV positive. She got so sick, and then she started to drink those ARVs, and I kept on sleeping with her, not using any protection. I don't know what kind of a spirit had possessed me at that time. And this woman, after I had slept with her for a very long time, that was when I also got so sick. When I got sick, I went to the clinic and I was told that I was HIV positive. And then I started to take those ARVs, but I did this in secret. I never told anyone. That was when I started to sleep with a lot of women in that location where I was staying. And I was so heartless, so much that all the women that I will be sleeping with, I'll make sure that I will not use any protection at all. I started with a woman who was married, who was staying at the same house where I was staying. That woman, she loved money a lot, so I would give her some money, then we will meet in the bathroom, then we will make love to each other. No protection, no what. So Brother Nashi, I have a diary in the location where I am staying. I slept with about 20 women. So like each and every woman that I gave HIV to, I would write her name as well as her surname, because I told myself that by the time that I would have died, during that time I wanted to sleep with 500 women. This was before COVID came. So when COVID came, I then got scared and I thought that maybe this was the end of the world. But my plan was to sleep with 500 women. By the time that COVID came, I had slept with 104 women. All of these women, I wrote their names in my little diary, and I wrote their names and their surnames and the date that I slept with them, not using any protection, because my plan is to sleep with as many women as I can, so that I can also give them this HIV. This is my own confession, Brother Nashi. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our brother right there. That is very scary. His plan is to sleep with about 500 women. Then you will rest. 500 women. Strange things do happen in this world.